Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. I'm so happy you're here. I love connecting people to their higher self, to dropping the anxiety so that they can lead more productive, fulfilling, enriching lives. You know, you can only go in one direction at a time. So this morning, give your anxious thoughts, your worries, your doubts, your fears, give them up to God so that you can just open your heart and live the kind of day that you are intended to live. Peace, joy, fulfillment, purpose. You are a spiritual being. You've been gifted with an intellect and you have a physical body so that you can experience life. When you experience things that you don't want, it makes you appreciate the good in life that much more. I used to think that I was doing something productive when I worried, but worry is a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. Let it go. One thing that really works is to write out something that's bothering you. Instead of holding it inside, replaying it in your mind, or telling everybody you know how terrible things are, instead, try this. Take a pen and paper and write down your anxieties. Write down a circumstance that is bothering you and to truly release it, to truly give it to God, to not worry about it, to forget and forgive, to write it down, write it out in all its gory details, and then burn it. You might not want to burn it, but you can shred it, you can rip it up, you can say, I release this energy because I want to open my heart. I want to feel peace. I want to increase my faith that everything is working out for my good, for everyone's good, for the greater good of all. And in order to believe that, I must let go of doubt, fear, and anxiety. The more you study, the more you gain knowledge, the more you realize that you can only go in one direction at a time. You can only go in the direction of love, peace, and joy, or the opposite. Which way do you want to spend your day? How do you want to live your life? What would you prefer? Now, I've been reading from The Science of Getting Rich, and Wallace Wattles writes a chapter called Thinking in the Certain Way. And this is a book that Bob Proctor used to talk about and read from often. And he would say, what do you really want? And people would say, well, I don't know. Well, yes, if you know what you don't want, then what you do want must be the opposite. So let's release the anxieties and the doubts and the worries about how it's going to happen and decide, what do you really want? In the Thinking in the Certain Way, Wallace Wattles says, you must know what you want and be definite. You can never get rich or ignite the creative power into action by sending out unformed longings and vague desires. Bob Proctor would say, write down what you do want. Make it a concise statement that you know exactly what it is. You might think about the Mona Lisa, the painting, the beautiful creation that is hanging in the Louvre Gallery. When I say Mona Lisa, you know exactly what I mean. It's a particular painting of a woman. You've seen it in books and you've seen pictures of it. You know what Mona Lisa means. So if you have a particular thing that you want or a purpose that you're going after, work that you love doing, a relationship that you want healed, a particular trip you want to take, or a vehicle that you always wanted, a home just the way you would love it to be, what would that look like? So if you have a pen and paper handy, if you're spending time journaling every morning, if you've written down some things that you don't want, you could rip that page out and tear it up and write down what you do want. Write your goal. Set it as a target, because what you want is, consider it a destination. You've heard of destination weddings, or if you're going on a trip, there's a destination that you're programming your GPS in your vehicle. That's where I'm going. Take something that you really want and try this as an experiment. Write it down in the present tense. Say thank you. My mentor, Bob Proctor, would say, write down, I am so happy and grateful now that. You want to put it in the present tense. So not wishing and hoping, not noticing that it's missing, but being able to get into the feeling that your goal is already accomplished. The wish has been fulfilled. Putting yourself in that vibrational energy of what you do want. And then think about the picture. Just like a couple of days ago, I read the story in The Science of Getting Rich of how riches come to you, that you must see in your mind a clear picture of the things that you desire so that the creative thought of them might be impressed on the formless substance. Wallace Wattles tells the story of a poor man living in a rented house. He couldn't grasp the fact that everything was his. Isn't that what God promised? Everything is yours. And this man couldn't understand that all wealth was his. So after thinking the matter over, he decided he might reasonably ask for a new rug for the floor of his best room and an anthracite coal stove to heat the house during the cold weather. So following the instructions to get clear, to hold an image of what he really wanted, writing it out, pretending in his mind, seeing the image, acting as if in his mind that it was already done, this man realized he hadn't asked enough. He went through the house in which he lived and he planned all the improvements that he wanted to make. He mentally added a bay window here and a room there. He continued until in his mind it was complete as his ideal home. And then he planned its furnishings, and holding the whole picture in his mind, he began living in a certain way and moving toward what he wanted. He owns the house now and is rebuilding it according to his mental image. Now, with still greater faith, he is proceeding to get greater things. It has been done unto him according to his faith. And it is so with you. It is so with all of us. So in this chapter, Wallace Waddell says, go over your desires just as the man I have described went over his house. See just what you want. Get a clear mental picture of it as you wish it to look when you get it. As the sailor has the port toward which he is sailing in his mind, you must have a clear mental picture continually in your mind. You must keep your face turned toward it all the time. You must no more lose sight of it than the steersman loses sight of the compass. It is not necessary to take exercises in concentration nor to set apart special times for prayer and affirmation, nor to go into the silence, nor to do occult stunts of any kind. These things are well enough, but all you need is to know what you want and to want it enough so that it will stay in your thoughts. Spend as much of your leisure time as you can contemplating your picture. Remember, you do not need to take exercises to concentrate your mind on a thing you really want. It is the things that you don't really care about that require effort to fix your attention upon them. Unless your desire is strong enough to hold your thoughts to the purpose, as the magnetic pole holds the needle of the compass, it will hardly be worthwhile for you to try to carry out these instructions. Wallace says, the methods I am presenting here are for people whose desire for riches is strong enough to overcome mental laziness and the love of ease. The more clear and definite you make your picture, and the more you dwell upon it, the stronger your desire will be. And the stronger your desire, the easier it will be to hold your mind fixed upon the picture of what you want. Now, it's really important to not fix your mind on the lack of what you want. Don't fix your mind on the current circumstances as it is, because that just takes you into a downward spiral and attracts to you more of what you don't want. The key is to get into the feeling as if it's already done. It's already yours. Your wish has been fulfilled. How do you feel now that your relationships are the way you want them to be? You're doing work that you love, that fills your mind and heart with purpose. Don't focus on what you don't want. Put all your attention on feeling as if you already are in the vision, your heart's desire. You have the love of your life. You are truly grateful. Wallace Waddell says something more is necessary than merely seeing the picture clearly. If that's all you do, you're only a dreamer and you'll have little or no power for accomplishment. Behind your clear vision must be the purpose to realize it, to bring it out in tangible expression. And behind this purpose must be an invincible and unwavering faith that the thing is already yours, that it is at hand, and you have only to take possession of it. Live in the new house mentally until it takes form around you physically. In the mental realm, enter at once into full enjoyment of the things you want. Jesus said, whatsoever things ye ask for when you pray, believe you receive them and you shall have them. See the things you want as if they were actually around you all the time. See yourself owning and using them. Make use of them in your imagination, just as you will use them when they are your tangible possessions. Dwell upon your mental picture until it is clear and distinct. Then take the mental attitude of ownership toward everything in that picture. Take possession of it in your mind in full faith that it is actually yours. Hold to this mental ownership. Do not waver for an instant in the faith that it is real. And remember what I said in the chapter about gratitude. Be as thankful for it all the time as you expect to be when it has taken form. When you can sincerely thank God for the things which you own only in imagination, then you have real faith. Wallace Waddell says, you will get rich. You will cause the creation of whatever you want. You don't need to pray repeatedly for the things you want. It's not necessary to tell God about it all day long. Jesus said to his pupils, use not vain repetitions as the heathen do, for your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things before you ask him. Your part is to intelligently form your desire for the things which make for a larger life, and to get these desires arranged into a coherent whole. See the picture. See yourself in the picture. And then impress this whole desire upon the formless substance, which has the power and the will to bring you whatever you want. You do not make this impression by repeating strings of words. You make it by holding the vision with unshakable purpose to attain it, and with steadfast faith that you will attain it. Bob Proctor would sometimes suggest, write down what it is you desire. Write it down 100 times a day. The reason he said that is because people would say, this is what I want with all my heart. I deeply desire it. I know I'll be happy when I have this. And they would write it out and create a vision board and spend a couple of minutes thinking about it, and then turn around and say, it's not here yet. And they would worry and doubt and get anxious. And Bob Proctor would say, when you worry, when you have doubts, when you are afraid, that fear sets up anxiety, and anxiety suppressed turns to depression. Don't look at what you don't have. Don't worry about how what you want is going to come to you. Get into the feeling of it already accomplished. What would it feel like to be loved, to be doing purposeful work, to have that thing that you've always wanted? And he would say, write it down 100 times, because he wanted people to understand that it was possible, but not if you keep going backwards, not if you keep looking at what's missing. You must make this impression by holding the vision with unshakable purpose that it's yours, that you will attain it. The answer to prayer is not according to your faith while you're talking. It is according to your faith while you are working. You cannot impress the mind of God by having a special Sabbath day set apart to tell him what you want and then forgetting him during the rest of the week. If you do not think of your prayer until the hour of prayer comes again, you cannot impress him by having special hours to go into your closet and pray. Speaking out loud, oral prayer, has its effect in clarifying your vision and strengthening your faith, but it is not your oral petitions that will get you what you want. In order to get rich, in order to have the love of your life, in order to have your deep desire, you do not need a sweet hour of prayer. You need to pray without ceasing. And by prayer, I mean holding steadily to your vision with the purpose of causing its creation into solid form and the faith that you are doing so. Believe that you receive. Once you have clearly formed your vision, the whole matter turns on receiving. When you have formed your vision, it is well to make an oral statement by addressing the supreme power in reverent prayer. From that moment on, you must receive what your mind has asked for. Live in the new house. In your mind, wear the fine clothes. Ride in the automobile. Go on the journey and confidently plan for greater journeys. Think and speak of all the things you have asked for in terms of actual present ownership. Imagine the exact environment and the financial condition you desire and live all the time in that imaginary environment and financial condition. Be mindful that you do not do this as a mere dreamer, a castle builder. You're not faking it till you make it. You're not pretending. You're holding to the faith that the imaginary is being realized, and you're holding to the purpose required to realize it. Remember that it is faith and purpose in the use of the imagination which make the difference between the scientist and the dreamer. And having learned this fact, it is here that you must learn the proper use of the will. To set about getting rich in a scientific way, you do not try to apply your willpower to anything outside of yourself. You have no right to do so anyway. It is wrong to apply your will to other men and women in order to get them to do what you wish done. It is as flagrantly wrong to coerce people by mental power as it is to coerce them by physical power. If compelling people by physical force to do things for you reduces them to slavery, compelling them by mental means accomplishes exactly the same thing. The only difference is the method. If taking things from people by physical robbery, physical force is robbery, then taking things by mental force is also robbery. Wallace Waddell says, in principle, there is no difference. You have no right to use your willpower upon another person, even for his own good, because you do not know what is for the other person's good. The science of getting rich does not require you to apply power or force to any other person in any way whatsoever. There is not the slightest necessity for you to do so. Indeed, any attempt to use your will upon others will only tend to defeat your purpose. You do not need to apply your will to things for them to come to you. That would simply be trying to coerce God, and that would be foolish and useless as well as irreverent. You do not have to compel God to give you good things any more than you have to use your willpower to make the sun rise. You do not have to use your willpower to conquer an unfriendly deity or to make stubborn and rebellious forces do your bidding. The thinking substance is friendly to you and is more anxious to give you what you want than you are to get it. To get rich, you need only to use your willpower upon yourself. When you know what to think and do, you must use your will to compel yourself to think and do the right things. That is a legitimate use of the will in getting what you want. To use it in holding yourself to the right course. Use your will to keep yourself thinking and acting in the certain way. Do not try to protect your will or your thoughts do not try to project your will or your thoughts or your mind out into space to act on things or people. Keep your mind at home. It can accomplish more there than anywhere else. Use your mind to form a mental image of what you want and hold that vision with faith and purpose. Use your will to keep your mind working the right way. The more steady and continuous your faith and purpose, the more rapidly you will receive what you desire, because you will make only positive impressions upon the formless substance. And you don't want to neutralize by negative impressions. The formless substance receives a picture of your desires and allows this picture to penetrate to great distances, perhaps throughout the entire universe. That means you don't have to worry about how it's going to come. You just need to hold steady, keep the faith, have a clear image of what you desire, and put yourself in the feeling as if you're already there. When you receive instructions, when you hear your intuition, when you get an impulse to do something, act on it. That will take you on the next step toward your desired goal. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Think of all the things you'll be doing when your goal has been attained. And I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.